Hey, that's my gran. Show some respect. Well, Gran, I'd better get going.
All right, dear. Be good and keep safe, Gabe, honey.
I will, Gran. See you.
The number written on the note is 4909-324-3333.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international?
St. Louis Cathedral. The original church on this site was built in 1724 and was named for Louis IX of France. That church burnt in the Great Fire of 1788. The present church dates from 1851. The Pontalba buildings are historical landmarks, built in 1849 and 1850 as residential apartments. The Presbytere. This building was begun by the Spaniards in 1795 after a fire in Jackson Square. It was intended for monks, but now houses historical exhibits. It has been overcast all week. The air has been moody and thick. Strange weather for June. A Cajun band, inventive as always with their instruments, is having a good old time on the lawn. Funny how catchy that toe tapping can be.
That's Crash. What the hell is he up to with that drummer? Huh, Crash and the drummer. Interesting.
Jackson Square proper lies below. Gabriel can't do that with the square from here. Gabriel is standing on the balcony of a building across the street from Jackson Square. On the balcony are 4 mounted binoculars.
Hey there, nice beat. I dig it.
The drummer does not respond. A lone drummer beats out a haunting rhythm on a large African drum.
Knight, hate to tell you this, but you're out of a book. The voodoo murders case has been closed.
I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Son of a bitch. I have to tell you, bud, I'm pretty pissed off about this case being closed. You guys are making a big mistake.
Hey, I'm not any happier about it than you are, Knight, but I've got my orders.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
Look, the department's not interested.
So, couldn't you make them interested?
With what? I got 7 bodies and still no leads. The voodoo angle's worthless, and besides, these people aren't hurting anybody but out-of-town drug dealers and hitmen.
The voodoo stuff is not worthless. It's the key to the whole thing. And these people are dangerous. They need to be stopped.
Okay, you want me to reopen this case? Prove what you just said.
What do you mean?
You need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland. Prove that they're a threat. Get me a lead on the cult.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland. Prove that they're a threat. Get me a lead on the cult.
Trying for a real estate job with that coat?
No? Are you trying out for a janitorial job with that hair?
This is a newspaper clipping about a murder committed in 1810. That murder is an exact match of the voodoo murders, right down to the marks around the bodies.
This does sound like the same M.O. 1810.
1810. They killed then, they're killing now. Isn't that proof that they're likely to kill again? Or that they are a threat?
Sure, if there is a voodoo cult, they're a threat.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
How can I convince you to reopen the case?
I already told you. You still need to prove that there's a legitimate voodoo cult in Narland. Get me a lead on the cult.
Well, I'll be seeing you.
Have a good one.
Does this mean anything to you?
Not really.
Could you do anything with this?
What is this, a clay mold? Interesting. I am a jeweler, you know. But I'm retired. I'm going to sit here in this freaking chair until I beat this bastard.
You plan to be buried in that chair then?
Does this mean anything to you?
Man, get away from me with that, will you?
Gabriel can't do anything with the drummer on the street.
Hello, Dr. John.
Glad you could return to us, Mr. Knight.
Does this pattern look familiar to you?
Where did you get that?
You do recognize it then?
I have never seen it before in my life.
Are you sure about this pattern?
I am sure, Mr. Knight.
Could I ask you some more questions?
Of course. I also find our dialogue stimulating.
Do you know anything about veves?
I believe they have something to do with Haitian voodoo. But that is not really my area.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I do not believe so.
Isn't he one of the Loa?
Perhaps. I am not familiar with some of the more obscure Haitian and African Loa.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
Of course. It is one of the Loa.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Knight. The voodoo churches in the city have no need for secrecy.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
That sort of viewpoint makes my work very difficult, Mr. Knight. If there are one or two ignorant believers, that is none of my concern, and I do not care to promote a Hollywood interpretation of voodoo by discussing it.
Nice outfit.
I prefer simple cotton to dead flesh, Mr. Knight.
I'll have to remember that.
The snake is too far away.
The python is quite dangerous. I would stay back if I were you.
Thanks for the advice.
That doesn't work that way. A street drummer has settled outside the museum.
I'll be going.
Come back again.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you just a few more questions?
Whatever, man.
I found out what risquent-elles means. How did you know about human sacrifice?
I never said them words, monsieur. You must have heard them from someone else.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
There's no such thing. Not around here.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? No such thing. I tell you for sure.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Don't talk like that around here, man.
Do you know anything about veves?
Like the ones in the voodoo rituals they do for the tourists.
Right.
They curiosities, no? This a curio shop.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Have you ever heard of Damballa?
Damballa is an African legend about a great serpent. Folklore, that's all.
Do you recognize this pattern?
Don't look familiar at all, monsieur.
Does this mean anything to you?
I don't know anything about that at all.
What would Gabriel do with that sign?
Hey, kids!
Bruno, how nice.
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you gonna sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
How much would you give me for it?
Oh, you're serious? You'll let me have it?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Yeah, I'll let you have it all right. How much for the painting?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My affairs are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100 for your father's painting?
Stay out of this, Grace. Forget it, Bruno. Not for 100. Not now.
Have it your way. The 100 goes with me. I'll be back, though. I can see how much you want it.
Yeah, well, I'll show you wanting it.
Careful. You don't want to damage the door with your incredible wit.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Nope. No safe full of money back there. 3 snakes in a skull. Gabriel's father painted it.
What a wacky offbeat kind of guy Daddy was. Does this mean anything to you?
Sure, I'm the one that gave it to you, remember?
Cute gargoyle, eh?
The gargoyle has no function but sheer ugliness. Not unlike... Oh, never mind.
Didn't Grace say you had to dial 011 first to get international? I'm not calling Germany. That Wolfgang Ritter guy says he's a relative, but I've never heard of him.
Hey, kids.
Bruno.
Gabe, pet, I just popped in to see if you're desperate enough to sell me that painting.
How much would you give me for it?
Oh, you're serious? You'll let me have it?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Yeah, I'll let you have it all right. How much for the painting?
Well, I could give you 100. That's all I can let go at the moment, you know. My affairs are so tied up.
Gabriel, $100 for your father's painting?
Stay out of this, Grace. Fine. It's yours.
Gabriel!
Here's the 100.
You better take good care of this, Bruno. This is not just another of your hip art pieces, you know.
Really? Well, I fully intend to make the most of its display, though not for your sake, I'm sure. At least in my shop, there'll be a chance of someone actually seeing it. I can't believe I actually got it. Just wait until I show Sid.
I don't believe you.
It's just a painting, Grace. There are things I have to do.
$100 in cash. That's the most money Gabriel has had in his pocket in 2 years.
Does this mean anything to you?
It means you have no scruples at all selling your father's painting like that.
I'll be back later.
Have fun.
Does this mean anything to you?
Man, get away from me with that, will you?
Does this mean anything to you?
Not really.
Gabriel isn't in the mood to give a lecture. The podium, Hartridge's throne. The door to Hartridge's office is locked. There's a PA speaker on the wall. The seats are the fold-down kind.
I've spent all the time in those chairs that I care to.
Gabriel's in one of the lecture halls at Tulane University. A projection screen dominates the front of the hall.
Miss Geddy is busy, officer, and has instructed me to wish you good luck. That is all.
If you just tell her...
Goodbye, sir.
To get what's in the case, Gabriel would need money.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $120.
What? You said you'd sell it for 100 before.
You misheard, monsieur. The price was always 120.
It must be the crocodile thing, but even I'm not interested in undressing that mannequin.
There's no room for him in the bookstore.
I'll pass. I ate Italian last night.
To get what's in the case, Gabriel would need money.
Can I ask you just a few more questions?
Whatever, man.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $120.
What? You said you'd sell it for 100 before.
You misheard, monsieur. The price was always 120.
Would you take 50 for Willie Jr.?
Don't insult me, monsieur. The price is $120.
What? You said you'd sell it for 100 before.
You misheard, monsieur. The price was always 120.
Willie looks ready to defend that cash register with his life. Garlic, cloves, and other dried goods and spices are collected in the bowls.
I know where to come if I ever have a vampire problem. Hello, Dr. John.
Glad you could return to us, Mr. Knight. Not unless you care to donate it to the museum.
Goodbye, Dr. John.
Goodbye, Mr. Knight.
Does this mean anything to you?
Can't say that it does.
Able was I ere I saw Elba. Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure, I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
I'd call you a regular, Gabe. And one of our local writer celebrities, too. Been coming in here, what, 10 years now?
Oh, don't remind me.
We're still waiting for that bestseller.
Don't hold your breath. Are you sure you can't do anything with this?
I told you I'm busy with this old fart.
Does this mean anything to you?
Not really.
You come here a lot, don't you?
Every ever-loving day of my life for 20 years.
Does this mean anything to you?
Not really.
How's it going, Granddaddy? Hey, Daddy. Miss you, Mom. Oh, shoot. Huh. Looks like someone left something in that vase. Looks like it's my lucky day. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
I have $120. You still want to sell that crocodile mask?
That's 120 sure enough. That mask is yours, sir. Here you go. Careful it don't bite you now.
Yeah, thanks.
Now don't you go forgetting your lagniappe, a free bottle of master gambling oil.
The sign said I could get Lady Luck oil instead.
Well, I was thinking a man as young as you wouldn't be needing that kind of remedying. But, if you's having problems with your,
That's all right. Believe me, I don't need it. I'll just stick with this. Thanks anyway.
'Cause it ain't none of my business if you do need it now, huh?
I don't need it.
Oh, of course you don't.
Hey, Grace, here I am.
Oh boy, party time.